Hi guys, it's me for the first of today, this group of videos as kind of doing like the states aren't recognised kind of thing. As yeah, we're starting off with Abkhazia, also spelled like Abkhazia, which is kind of like an autonomous republic in northwestern Georgia that has formally declared its independence in 1999, but in a few countries, most notably Russia, which has a military presence within Abkhazia, recognises its independence, as it's kind of like bordering the eastern shores of the Black Sea, as Abkhazia consists of a small, narrow coastal lowland broken by mountain spurs, as following a hilly foreland zone and overeroded marine and river terraces that merge into steep slopes of the Caucasus Mountains, which are kind of like more towards the north. The population was 240,705 in 2014, but it was estimated at about 243,564 in 2017, while the Abkhazia is believed to be about 3,336 square miles or 8,640 square kilometers. There's proximity to the sea kind of gives them a wet climate, as near subtropical conditions are in the lowlands, where the average January temperature is above freezing point, and the annual rainfall is an average about 47 to 55 inches, or 1,200 or 1,400 to 1,400 millimeters. And mountain slopes, climatic conditions more severe and precipitation can be heavier, and wide areas of lowlands and foreland zones have been cleared of the forests of oak, beech and hornbeam, as once covered what is now Abkhazia. Just need to turn the notifications down, as the majority of the population is concentrated in the coastal lowlands, where the largest settlements are located, as is the capital Sukhumi, Ochaneshru, and the resort towns of Gagra and Naviothan. Prior to the separatist rebellion in the early 1990s, led by ethnic Abkhaz, which are kind of like ethnic Georgians that have made up at least half of Abkhazia's population, while the ethnic Abkhaz have accounted for less than a fifth of the population. Armenians and Russians make up the remainder. And in 1993, however, most Georgians and some Russians and Armenians fled Abkhazia for other parts of Georgia, and although the amount of arable land is small, agriculture constitutes the predominant economic activity within Abkhazia. In the foreland zone, there's kind of like you can grow tobacco there, and the coastal zone is noted for its tea, silk, and fruit. Now this is extracting from like nuts of tongue tree, which is widely grown together with eucalyptus and bamboo, as grapes have been cultivated in the area since ancient times. Yep. Okay. I'll pause it for now. Anyways, oil is extracted from the knot of tongue trees and all that, which is why they grown together with eucalyptus and bamboo, as grapes have been cultivated since ancient times. Inland on the higher slopes, timber production is like a major occupation. There's coal mining centres at Vacherie, which is like the largest inland city. There's power supplied by several hydroelectric plants as the coastal resorts in Lake Ritsa. Popular holiday and convalescent centres. As the main line of communication in Abkhazia is electrified railway along the coast, where branch Traveli as roads parallel the coast and lead inland. As Abkhazia was once a vassal of the former Byzantine Empire, which became Christian under Justinian I for about 550 AD, like 550 AD. And in the 8th century, an independent kingdom of Abkhazia was later formed. And later part of Georgia secured its independence in 1463, and it came under the rule of the Ottoman Empire in the 16th century, as Islam kind of subsequently replaced Christianity in parts of Abkhazia and all that today. Correct me if I'm wrong. And in 1810, a treaty with Russia was signed acknowledging a protectorate as Russia annexed Abkhazia, and in 1864, the Soviet authorities proclaimed its autonomy in 1919 and raised the status of a republic in 1921, as it became an autonomous republic within the Georgian Republic in 1930, remaining part of Georgia till it kind of attained their independence in 1991. And in 1992, secessionists in Abkhazia staged an army revolt against the Georgian central government in a bid to obtain Abkhazia's independence in 1993. But in May 1994, a ceasefire was arranged, and despite the ceasefire, the subsequent deployment of larger Russian peacekeeping force in the region, hostilities still continue, and in 1999 the region formally declared its independence. And it was a move that wasn't internationally recognised in the community, as Georgia accused Russia of supporting the separatist ambition in the region, as well as criticism of which Abkhazian residents were able to obtain Russian passports, and by 2002 half the population of Abkhazia had acquired the Russian passport, and it served to strain relationships between the two countries as the conflict further aggravated following the 2004 election in Georgia of President Mikhail Saakashvili, who made Georgian territorial unity and control of the country's separatist regions, Abkhazia being one of them, as a political priority. And in 2006, Georgia was able to take part of the pocket of Abkhazia known as Kadari Gorge. For the rest of Abkhazia still remains outside Georgian control, and years that followed, Russia became increasingly influential within Abkhazia, as hostilities erupted in August 2008 in another separatist region known as South Ossetia, as the Georgian forces engaged with local separatists fighting as well as Russians who had crossed the border, and violence spread rapidly to other parts of Georgia, including Abkhazia, where Russia had massed additional forces in the days following the initial outbreak in South Ossetia. The French brokered a ceasefire which called for the withdrawal of Russian forces, as Abkhazia later allowed Russia to take control of its border, railways and airports, and control and build military bases in the region. As domestically, the region's de facto government shows to remain a stable representative government, where about half the population was Georgian, Armenian or Russian. Those ethnic groups remained largely absent in the Abkhaz-dominated government, as Georgians in particular remained disenfranchised and were pressured to take on Abkhaz name and identities, as President Sergei Bagash, an Abkhaz who married a Georgian into a Georgian family, sought unsuccessfully to extend citizenship to Georgians in Abkhazia and to come to a settlement with Georgia and on independent Abkhazia. And after hostilities between Georgia and Russia in 2008, he was criticised for handing too many Abkhazian assets to Russia, as he remained a focus of much opposition until he died in office in 2011 of heart failure. Rest in peace, as Baga, Vice President and elected successor, Alexander Ankvab, attempted to strengthen the already powerful presidency in light of persistent opposition and 6 assassination attempts before and during his presidency. He resigned in June 2014, days after the protesters stormed the presidential palace and forced him to seek refuge in a Russian base, as Raul Gajimba, the former vice president who had led the opposition against Ankvab, was then elected president months later, and likewise faced organised efforts to force his resignation. And he survived those efforts, but he sought a second term in election and set originally for July 2019. But the elections were postponed to August after key opposition candidate fell ill suddenly with rumours of poisoning. Yeah, we get on to South Ossetia. South Ossetia, or Russian Yasnaya Ossetia, autonomous republic in Georgia that declared independence in 2008, and is only a few countries, most notably Russia, which maintains a military presence within South Ossetia like Abkhazia. Only a few countries who recognise their independence, as South Ossetia occupies the southern slopes of the Greater Caucasus Mountains. As the region is populated largely about 2/3 of Ossetians, Caucasian people speaking Eastern Iranian language, as many Ossetians also live in the neighbouring Republic of North Ossetia, Alania, in Russia, which occupies the northern slopes of the Greater Caucasus, as most of the remaining inhabitants of South Ossetia are Georgians, as its capital is Shinkravali, has a population of about 33,552 in 2014, but kind of decreased to 53,000 in 2016 through estimates. South Ossetia is deeply intersected by rivers which can be harnessed for hydroelectric power, and the vast majority of the region lies with about 3,300 or 1,000 feet or 1,000 metres above 3,300 feet or 1,000 metres above sea level, and only about a tenth of the land is cultivated, as grain, fruit and vines are grown, particularly under irrigation, as sheep are raised in the higher slopes, and a considerable forest wealth is exploited, as continuous separatist conflict with Georgia, from which South Ossetia sought independence, has hampered South Ossetia's economy and small ruling across the border with Russia, in which South Ossetia more closely identifies with, and has become more predominant these days. In the late 1980s, a separatist movement emerged in South Ossetia that sought secession from Georgia and unification with North Ossetia and Alania. In 1989, Soviet troops were sent to maintain peace, and shortly after, Georgia gained their independence from the Soviets in 1991, as heavy fighting broke out between Ossetian and Georgian forces, forcing thousands to flee South Ossetia, and in 1992, Russia helped to broker a ceasefire, which called for the peacekeeping forces from Georgia, Russia, and Northern Ossetia, Alania, and South Ossetia, but the breakaway region status remained unresolved. In 1993, South Ossetia approved a constitution which established the region as a republic. Although not internationally recognised, it elected a president in 1994, as subsequent negotiations failed to end any conflict, and periodic fighting continuing well into the early 21st century. South Ossetia emphasised its desire for independence in an unofficial referendum in late 2006, which such status was unrecognised by the international community. The territory remained largely legally part of Georgia. There's hostilities between South Ossetia and Georgia, and more broadly between Georgia and Russia, escalated rapidly in August 2008, when Georgian troops engaged with local separatist fighters as well as Russian forces that had crossed the border. There with a stated intent to defend Russian citizens and peacekeeping troops already in the region, and in the days that followed, Russian forces took control of Valley in the South Ossetian capital, and the fighting continued to spread to a parts of the country, Abkhazia included. As Georgia and Russia signed a French brokered ceasefire that called for withdrawal of Russian forces, but tensions continued. But in Russia's subsequent recognition of the independence of Abkhazia and South Ossetia was condemned by Georgia, and met with criticism by other members of the international community. So yeah, where's Abkhazia and South Ossetia for you? And yeah, bye for now.